Hello everyone, my name is Molly. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about my favorite songs that came out this year, 2020. So let's get into it. So at number 10, I personally have gone with People I've Been Sad by Christine and the Queens. This song came out I think back in, I want to say February or March of 2020, so it's been around for a while and I consistently listen to it throughout the year. It's just a really solid song. I love the singer's vocals on this song, and it's one of those that it doesn't necessarily get stuck in your head, but every time I listen to it, I just enjoy it. So that's number 10. Number 9 is The Runaround by Sufjan Stevens, and this song, when I first heard it, I wasn't 100% sold on it, but it was one of those songs, the more I listened to it, the more it grew on me. It's very atmospheric. I feel like it could almost belong in a movie soundtrack or something, which I tend to be really drawn to songs that have that sound quality to them. So I think that's why this one grew on me. But yeah, number 9, The Runaround by Sufjan Stevens. Really good. At number 8, we have Brooklyn Bridge to Chorus by The Strokes. I enjoyed their whole album that they released this year, but that song in particular, Brooklyn Bridge to Chorus, I just find it very entertaining to listen to. I just enjoy it. It's a good listen. Kind of upbeat, a very vibrant song. It's probably my favorite off of the album and just quite an enjoyment to listen to. At number 7, we have Genesis by Deftones. This whole album, Ohms, that they released in 2020, it had some missteps for me. There were some songs on there I definitely did not get into, but this song in particular, it's the opener on the album, and Genesis, it has, again, like an atmospheric quality to it, especially how the song opens, and it slowly just builds. I found that really impressive to listen to. It's a very big, loud song, and it definitely impressed me. It was one of those songs that I kept going back to time and time again. It just grew on me. So Genesis by Deftones, check it out. I thought it was a really good song. At number 6 is going to be Physical by Dua Lipa. Her whole album, Future Nostalgia, is just filled with pop songs that are fantastic. They get stuck in your head. The production's good, the vocals are good, everything about them is good. It works well as a cohesive album, but Physical in particular, I just thought it was the song I probably listened to the most off of her album, and it was just my favorite. So that's why I picked that one. So yeah, number 6 is Physical by Dua Lipa. At number 5, I've picked Modus by Joji, and this is an album, Joji's album Nectar that was released this year. I actually just listened to for the first time recently, like I think a couple of weeks ago, and Modus was the song on it I think that stuck out the most for me personally. I don't know if it's necessarily the most popular song on that album, but it was the one that definitely resonated the most with me. It was the one I kept going back to the most to listen to, and I just thought it was a good song. Very subdued vocals. I feel like that whole album, Joji does a good job of kind of fusing a bunch of different musical styles. There's like elements of almost hip-hop on some of his songs, and then you've got straight up pop, and then you've got like more melodic, subdued songs. He does a really good job of meshing together different genres. Which is why I did enjoy the whole album, but I think Modus is probably my favorite song off of the album. At number 4, I've picked Breathe Deeper by Tame Impala. And this song, again, this one came out earlier in the year. Just in general, I usually am a fan of Tame Impala's sound. Again, very atmospheric, movie soundtrack-esque songs, which tends to be the type of music I enjoy. But Breathe Deeper by Tame Impala, it kind of encompasses the whole sound of his newest album really well. It was definitely my favorite song off of his newest album. That could change, obviously, with more listens through, but I would say Breathe Deeper by Tame Impala would probably be my favorite pick off of his newest album, and so it's number 4 on my list for this year. At number 3, I have The World is Flat and This is the Edge by Kenny Hoopla. A new artist I've never known about up until 2020, but he has some new songs out. He has an EP out that he released in 2020 that I thought was pretty solid overall. This is the last track on his EP, and it was one of those songs that it was just very interesting. I didn't really know what to think of it when I first heard it, and I just kept going back to listen to it again and again because there are not many artists right now that are releasing music that sounds like this. It reminds me a lot of like early 2010s like pop punk type music. And if artists like Kenny Hoopla bring back old sounds and reintroduce us to genres that we kind of forgot about, it just makes me really excited for like the future of music and what's to come in 2021 and years beyond. And that aside, this song in particular I just think is really good. It's really interesting. You don't hear much like it these days. And yeah, The World is Flat and This is the Edge by Kenny Hoopla. Solid song. Check him out if you haven't heard of him yet. I think he's a very up and coming artist for sure. At number 2, I have picked After Hours by The Weeknd. His whole album, After Hours, I thought was a great listen to. The production on all of those songs are fantastic. He obviously had major hits like Heartless and Blinding Lights this year, but my personal favorite off of his album, which at this point it's no surprise it's going to be After Hours. It's probably the longest track on the album. It's the most atmospheric, the most cinematic sounding one in my opinion. It's not necessarily the catchiest, but it's just my personal favorite, and I feel like it hits you emotionally. It hits you like when listening through the whole album. It's the song that just for me stands out the most. I mean, he has other tracks on that album that are fantastic, don't get me wrong, but this is my personal favorite. So After Hours by The Weeknd, number 2. Alright, and so my number 1 song pick for 2020 is going to be Habibi by Zavdalisa. I hope I'm saying that right. But this is an artist, I think I've heard a few of her songs prior to 2020, but I wasn't really super familiar with any of her music up until this year. And she released a new album, Shabrang, I believe it's called, that came out this year. And the whole album is a very interesting listen. If you haven't heard of her as an artist or listened to her newest album, I would highly recommend doing so. She has a very interesting voice. I feel like she's one of those artists you might not love her music listening to it once, but if you start listening to her stuff, you'll get addicted pretty quick. She has a very interesting sound. But Habibi in particular by Zavdalisa is my favorite song off of her new album. The one word I can think of to describe this song is it's just epic. You've got the piano, you've got like the violin, the strings, and then her voice on top of that. I would just highly recommend listening to it. It's a very interesting song. I don't know anyone else that is making music that sounds exactly like this. But yeah, Habibi by Zavdalisa. Check it out if you haven't already. That is my number 1 pick for my favorite songs of 2020. So yeah, that sums up this video. I'm going to keep it short and sweet and end here, but let me know down in the comments what your favorite songs and or albums of 2020 were. I'd love to hear your recommendations. Musically, I feel like 2020 offered us some good stuff, so that was at least something that this year had to offer. And I'm really, really looking forward to 2021 and just excited for everything that's coming, including the music and what awaits us. Anyway, I will stop rambling and end here, but hope you all had a fantastic 2020, as good as it could have been for you personally, and yeah, I'm looking forward to 2021. Thanks for watching.